Yay Networks.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy. Oh my goodness, Great Girlfriends. I am truly honored and excited to be sitting with one of my virtual great girlfriends in my head for a very long time. I watched and honored and admired her, and I love that there has been no woman left behind on her watch. I am excited to bring to you today Shaun Robinson. Hi, Shaun.
Hi, Sybil. How are you?
I'm so excited and great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It is a pleasure to be with you today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. You know you've been my friend in my head since forever.
Okay. Well,
do you have friends in your head?
Your friend in the flesh now, almost virtual flesh.
I know, right? Do you have friends in your head? Do you have like people you like, that could be my friend?
You know, I'm trying to think. Do I have a friend in my head? I would love to have like dinner with Michelle Obama one day.
Yes.
That would be nice. I've met her and all, but it would be nice that I have dinner and just chit chat.
Right. I kind of think if I were to do a dinner with her, I would want it to be like a McDonald's run, right? Like something that's like you can only do with your homegirl. That's when I know we have made it, when we're ordering fries together. Yeah.
Right, girl. That would be fun. Yeah. Nothing fancy, but just kind of like, and she just seems like she would be down for something like that. Okay, let's go get some fries. Let's go. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Shaun, she would love to be your friend. We're going to make that happen. She's going to have dinner with you. She's going to laugh with you and enjoy you.
Let's make it happen.
We're going to make that happen. Why not?
Right.
So, Shaun, I want to get into your bio, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And Shaun, you have done so much work personally and professionally. Your advocacy knows no bounds. And I mean it when I say there has been no girl, no woman left behind on your watch. So you take your mantle very seriously as a professional and as an advocate and as a mentor. And all of that is obvious in the work that you do. Most of us know you from your Access Hollywood, your 10 years on Access Hollywood.
16.
Woo!
16, girl.
16. Wow. So I'm thinking so 16 years of time on Access Hollywood.
Yeah, wow. Right. Don't rob me of those 6 years, girl.
Give me your 6 years. Give me your 6 years.
I was working hard those 6 extra years.
You were working so hard. So most of us will recognize Emmy-Award winning journalist and television personality Shaun Robinson for her more than 10 years, which is 16 years in front of the camera hosting Access Hollywood. But her work as an entertainment journalist is just one of the many facets of her distinguished career. She is also an author, philanthropist, actress, and producer. Executive producer sounds mighty nice to me. I love that. Shaun is the executive producer of 2 new Lifetime original movies, Wrapped, which premiered on April 16th, and Greed, premiering on April 23rd, the next 2 installments of the network's 7 Deadly Sins movie anthology. Shaun made her debut last year as a movie executive producer with Lust and Envy, which began the anthology. The movies are based on books by bestselling author Victoria Christopher Murray. Shaun helped bring Victoria's stories to life. I love that. That storytelling is so important. And there's so much that I love about what you have created and continue to curate, Shaun. To me, it seems as, this is how it looks from the outside. I'm gonna give you the outside view. The outside view, Shaun wakes up beautifully smiling, glowing, just ready to take on the world.
Okay, that's wrong right there. But okay, go ahead.
Lashes are in place. The hair is set. I mean, her skin is just radiant. Her mind is set. Her spirit is set. And she goes out and she just does. And she decides and she goes for it. And then she calls her army, her village to stand beside her and advocate. And everything just moves in her will. Is that what I'm seeing?
Is that how it appears? Wow.
It just appears that it's effortless.
Well, yeah. Well, so over my bed, I have taped to my ceiling a piece of paper that says "Get Up." Okay,
I need that.
so when
I gotta make a
open
copy.
my eyes, I look and I see, and it's saying, "Shaun, get up." Okay, and so because I need that motivation in the morning because my days are so filled. There's so much on my plate. I go, oh my gosh, I don't know how I can take on this. And so that's the first thing that I do. And so I usually, exercise, take a walk, kind of wake up, and I FaceTime my mom. We chat about the day, what we're going to be doing that day. And then, come home, eat a little breakfast, and then I just kind of dive into the work. And so and I'm just usually working like all day. So when you talk about calling the army, all the little soldiers in the army, they're also working on their own stuff. So sometimes the army is me and God, okay? It's just me and God and, trying to get all this together. So, but thank you. I appreciate the fact that you say it looks effortless because it's not. It's not at all. But thank you very much for that compliment.
Yes, because you do it with such a glow and such a spirit of intention. And for those of us who move in intentionality, we know it takes work. But for those who like to consume the intentionality of others, it's easy for them to assume that Shaun just has it paved. Shaun came from Detroit. She went to Spelman and she arrived in Hollywood. And Hollywood said, "Come, Shaun, let's go, and it will take you
right
on this journey."
Yeah, that was not it at all. But it's interesting. I came to Access Hollywood in 1999. So that was before social media, before nobody had heard of a podcast before.
Yeah.
There was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It was just a really different time. And I kind of, when I look at how the entertainment business was then versus how it is now, it is so different because, I was one of the only little black faces on that red carpet. It was oftentimes a very, lonely place because I didn't see many people that looked like me at all. And, how did this young girl from Detroit, Michigan, make it to Hollywood and on this national show? And national before meant national because when you were in local news, when you were in a local, in the city, you could not see anything that was in somebody else's city. So this national show that everybody could see me on, my parents could see me on, that was a really big deal. And it was also a time when, let's say if Beyonce had a new album out, she would have to come to an Access Hollywood or a Today Show or Tonight Show to promote it. But now all it does is tweet it. And then, it's number one. So the entertainment shows held a different place back then. It was a lot different. There weren't podcasts. Now there are a million places that celebrities can go to promote their projects. And so, it was a real different time back then. So I look on it with great fondness, with some pain because of the struggle that I went through. But it was, it was a wonderful experience to be there. And, I'm glad that I met many wonderful people, went to many wonderful places. And, but yeah, so thank you, for saying that.
Yeah. I want to also add your representation, validated, so many of us who were watching from home and in different cities who wanted to see ourselves on television. So, none of that work was in vain because it's so validating for us to see ourselves in high places and know that it's possible, right? And to understand that someone's out there working and advocating and representing us.
Yeah. And I probably did not realize it at the time, but I've had, over the years, so many, Black women, women of color saying, you allowed me to see the possibility. And I didn't know it back then. I was just there trying to, do the work and to navigate that business. But I remember that when I was a little girl in Detroit, Michigan, I come home after school, do my homework and, watch my little cartoons. And my grandmother would turn on the evening news. And there was a Black woman named Beverly Payne in Detroit. I think she was the only, she was the only Black woman that I saw on TV at all. Okay, period, on shows or anything. And I remember just like looking at her and being mesmerized by her because she was the only person that looked like me. And I never met Beverly Payne, but she was really the first woman who set me on a path to becoming a journalist because my 6-year-old brain could not comprehend it. But this was somebody who looked like me and was telling me that more things were possible.
Don't we need that? It's so special. And may we all be that to someone else in our journeys, right? Maybe I'll see the need to be that. Shaun, so it's not that you needed to add more to your plate, right? You've operated as a journalist. You've been on death row. You're at the buffet, right? You just but you've done so many monumental works in your career, even as an actress and in the reunion for 90 Day Fiance Tell All. And, all these moments, they love you for that. They love you for that. You've done so much. What made you add executive producer, movie producer to your I want to say not to your resume because we're building legacies, to your legacy?
Yeah. So I wanted to, after a while I was thinking, what more can I do? Being at an entertainment show was great, but after a while I was kind of like on autopilot and, covering the same stories every single year. And I was like, okay, what else is there to do? What are the additional chapters? And being a producer was really natural because I could see what it took to put a show together. So I started talking to different producers and asking them for advice. And I finally optioned this series of books from author Victoria Christopher Murray. She was in the process. She had only written one book, and it was Lust, but she was writing all of the deadly sins. And I said, wow, this would make for a very good movie series. So I optioned the series. I pitched them around town, pitched them to different outlets. And finally, after a while, Lifetime said, they wanted to do it. And I was partnered with Bishop T.D. Jakes, which was a wonderful partnership. And we just started, and it was a long time. I optioned these books in 2016.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, 2016. So it was a long time. And so, and there were many ups and downs since the time that I optioned them. But anyway, so the first 2 movies aired last year, Lust and Envy. And now we have Wrath and Greed. So it's been a long journey, but to see them on TV and see people enjoying them and seeing the actors and seeing my name as an executive producer has been just really thrilling.
Yes, yes. And I mean, when I think about, bring a host, a body of talent together to make a story come alive, you've curated a great amount of quality actors, actresses, people who really have helped to support the storytelling. The movies are fantastic. I've had a chance to do my own personal preview from home. And I can tell you, great girlfriends, if you didn't catch last week's, I think the preview was last week, April 16th, correct? Of the first film,
of Wrath.
Wrath was first. So next week, the 23rd, is when you'll be able to catch Wrath at 6 p.m. I guess that's Eastern time.
Yes. And then the premiere of Greed right after. So,
so you're taking Saturday. Saturday is yours. That's what you're saying.
So you get to watch both of them. And Greed. Wrath starred Michelle Williams, who was
Yes,
absolutely
I love
phenomenal.
her.
I thought she did an
Yes.
amazing job. We had Tina um, Knowles-Lawson, who
Yeah.
played her mom.
Uh-huh.
We had the incredible Romeo Miller. He's not Lil Romeo anymore.
Not
And
at
then
all.
and yeah, and Antonio Cupo. And so
Uh-huh.
that cast was just absolutely phenomenal. And
Yeah.
then we go to Greed, starring Monique Coleman. We have we have the incredible Eric Benet. He's so good. Eric Benet
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
good.
So
And then
smooth in all things. I'm like, good
Smooth,
Lord.
yes. And then Lisa Ray
Uh-huh.
McCoy, she just really, I mean, she is like on fire on this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also Nathan Whitty. So
Uh-huh.
we've got a great cast. And so these are, Sybil, these are morality tales. The wages
Yeah.
of sin is death, as we have been taught, but there is redemption. There is redemption.
Uh-huh.
And so these are morality tales, and you'll learn something from these.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited about that because people were saying, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in this
Yeah.
situation. So yeah, that's what they'll learn from them.
I love it. More with Shaun Robinson after we hear a word from our brand partners. Great girlfriends, I feel like a 20-year-old at heart. But one day I'll be facing some of the same issues that many Americans over 50 face. And because the AARP knows you have a lot of good years ahead, they have established benefits that are insane. I mean, I've been getting so many great rewards and discounts just as a member of the AARP. So my youthful heart gets to take advantage of all the freedoms I like to feel when I travel and so much more. Here's a few of the benefits that I love: 61% average savings on prescription drugs not covered by Medicare, up to 15% off of meals at participating restaurants, job board and resume advisor, driver's safety tips, financial planning, retirement, and social security resources. AARP the magazine delivered to your door with news, interviews, and articles relevant to you, and the largest advocacy group for people 50 plus. Try the benefits for yourself. Go to aarp.org/greatgirlfriends to join for just $12 for your first year with automatic renewal. You'll get a second membership for free, plus AARP the magazine and a free gift. That's aarp.org/greatgirlfriends. Okay, Shaun, I need to jump into value-based entertainment and why you've decided to really stay in that lane of providing content that helps to provide the messaging while also give you the lessons along the way.
So, these movies are based on the books. And so I do a lot of different things.
Mhm.
I host, as you mentioned, 90 Day Fiance. I'm executive producing these movies. And what I like about being in this role as an executive producer is really just giving other people opportunities. Because listen, I have been in Hollywood for so long. There have been, many times I have interviewed somebody on the Oscar red carpet, and then the next year they couldn't even get arrested because they couldn't find a job.
Wow.
So, it's still, a challenge for people of color in Hollywood.
Mhm.
So I look at myself as providing jobs, providing opportunities for directors, for writers, for the cast and crew, for,
Mhm.
different people that are a part of the production. I just love that. I just love, being in a position when I can help other people achieve their dreams. So
Mm.
that's
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
and these, in terms of the value-based entertainment, and once again, I do
Yeah.
all kinds of entertainment because all kinds of entertainment. But this, we definitely have our faith-based audience for these
Yeah.
films. And I
Mhm.
like that. I was raised in the church. So when I first heard the title Seven Deadly Sins, I was like, oh, this would be right up my alley. I could
Yeah.
really, do something great with this. And I think
Yeah.
that we have.
Yeah, for sure. And I also feel we're in a space in content. and entertainment where people do want to learn along the way. People do want to see and relate to characters in real time making decisions that are, based off of it does boil down to, what do I believe? How do I roll when these scenarios come up? And
Yes.
how will I reflect my values when I'm in decision making? And I love that these two movies offer that real time, and also give you just a glimpse into, um, you know, for one, faith-based audiences have traditionally had, you know, really hardcore, really tough films to watch. The quality would not be there. It would be so hard to find a good Christian movie where
Yeah.
where you could follow the storyline, where you could enjoy it, where you could, have really great quality acting and production. This is all of that and then some. And it
Yeah.
doesn't come across as a Christian movie, as I'm saying. It comes across as a movie with messaging for anyone who's dealing with lust. Lust can take over anyone's life. Wrath can take over anyone's life. Greed, all these things, envy, those things affect every one of us at some point in our life. And I think bringing it to the forefront in this way is really a way to kind of level that out and say, how are humans dealing with these issues? How are we going to, right?
Yes, yes. And somebody asked me, they said, the, what is a lesson from greed? I said, don't be greedy. I said, that's it. That's the basic lesson. Don't be greedy. And what can
Right, right.
happen if you are? It's
Yes,
not,
yes,
and all of them. And these are things that we all deal with.
yes.
Anybody who says they've never committed this sin or they've never had this issue, I don't necessarily think is telling the
Yeah,
truth. But
that's not the
everybody
whole
is
truth.
exactly, or when
Yeah,
your wrath has gotten, out of control or has gotten you in trouble, when your greed,
yes.
if you've lusted after something or someone,
Mhm.
you've been envious of someone, all of
Right.
it uh,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
all of these stories are stories that people can identify with. And it's not
yes, for sure.
so, it's not so foreign to people that can't connect with it. These are
Right,
stories that anybody can recognize.
right. And as a great girlfriend, you'll find yourself in the middle of your friend's decision sometimes, in the middle of,
Oh yeah,
of your
yeah. You're like, honey, and that's what people.
what you
I was
gonna
looking
do?
at I was looking at social media. People were like screaming at Chastity. What the hell? Why are you doing that?
Yes.
And they'll be screaming at Zuri on
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah.
They'll all be screaming. So because you want your girlfriends to make good decisions, and when they're not,
Yeah.
you feel like screaming.
And you feel like, yeah, and you're like, I can't save you at this point. You've left me, and there's nothing I can do for you.
Okay, okay. There's
We're going to
nothing
hear
I can
from
do.
one of our partners and come right back. Great girlfriends, there's no one size fit all solution when it comes to hair care. A product that works wonders for curls might make straight hair limp and greasy. And as a person with colored hair, my hair can get super dry in every season. Thanks to my personalized pros routine, I can honestly say I've never been more in love with my hair. Pros makes custom hair care that's effective because it's personal. Using natural ingredients with proven results, Pros customizes every product in your routine from shampoo to supplements. First, Pros starts by asking you about you as a person with their in depth consultation. Pros ask me really unexpected things like, what do I eat most? What are some of my favorite habits? What is the climate that I live in? What's my zip code? What's the damage level? All those things. Next, pros analyzed all of my answers and determined what unique blend of ingredients should be in every product of my custom routine. Together, pros got all of my hair goals covered. And guess what, great girlfriends? Pros has really great scented products that come in amazing packaging with your name on it. Imagine that. So, Pros is the healthy hair regimen with your name all over it. Take your free in depth hair consultation and get 15% off of your first order today. Go to pros.com/greatgirlfriends. That's PROSE getupinc.com/greatgirlfriends for your free in-depth hair consultation and 15% off. So, Shaun, I want to know for you, does it feel good to have the world weighing in on these movies real time and offering their opinions and saying, what would I do if I were written the script? I would have done it different. Or does it feel good for you? Or does it feel a little out of control? You come
Well,
from a different box of entertainment to this new. How does that feel for you?
yeah, I get a kick out of people making comments, whether they're good comments or bad comments. I can remove myself from that. I can
Yeah.
say, I can tell, comments from people that are, maybe, yeah, even if the people are just hating, they're still watching
Yeah.
the show. And
Right.
the ratings can't tell a difference between the people that are watching it because they love it or they hating on it. They just don't. It's just
That's
you just
good.
on the ratings. Okay. So,
Yes.
the fact that I would be more concerned if nobody was talking about it, if
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
had an opinion, like, but because,
Yeah.
it touches on an emotion that we can all identify with. I know that when people are talking about it, that's a good thing.
Yeah. It is a good thing. What would you say to the great girlfriend who is in the middle? I want to get back to you adding this and saying, first of all, the get up in the morning is marvelous. I am actually going to take a piece of paper, a poster, and pin that bad boy above because I'm the snoozer. I'm going
Sailor
to
says,
give you
get up! Exclamation
yes.
mark.
I snooze, and I need to undo that habit. But what would you say to the great girlfriend who is who feels like there's a tugging on her heart to do more, to add more commas to her resume, her legacy, to operate as a multi hyphenate, but also struggling with the how of it all. I heard your process and I took that in, and I want to get to that part too. You
Yeah.
said it masterfully, but what would you say to her?
Yeah, first of all, it takes some preparation. It's
Yeah,
being able to start looking at tapping in, just sitting quietly and saying, what are you passionate about? What am I passionate about? And okay,
yeah.
if I want to do this here, what do I need to do to get to that spot? I read, as many people have, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey.
Mhm. Yeah.
And in that book, he talks about begin with the end in mind. So, what does the
Mhm.
end looks like? Okay, the end for me looked like people watching my movie on TV. That's
Mhm.
what the end looked like.
Mhm.
Okay, and so I had to kind of backtrack. Okay, how do I? Well, first I have to get the content. I've got to, have a place to air it. All of that. And so I started, talking to people who were producers in different genres. I asked, how did you do it? What kind of stories do you look for? I started looking for stories. I started optioning different books, and then, I made a deck out. It's funny because somebody was saying, oh, you gotta have your deck professionally made. You gotta spend thousands of dollars and have the deck professionally made. I was like, well, I ain't got that. So I'm gonna do it myself. So
Yeah.
I started working on the deck
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay. I started working on deck
Yeah.
myself, laying out the story. And then, using my Rolodex, saying I need to get to this person. So if I didn't know them, I knew somebody who knew them. That's
Yeah.
how I would work the contact, just to try to
Mhm.
get meetings with people. And
Mhm.
so, when that started happening, you started picking up steam. And remember, like I said, I optioned these back in 2016. So it's been a long,
Mhm.
long road. So don't
Mhm.
think that it's going to happen immediately. It's going to take a
Mhm.
while. It's going to take a minute. You know, um, sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it moves very quickly, but
Mhm.
just stay the course. That's what I would tell anybody watching this. Just stay the course and be faithful and just work hard, which I know everybody is doing.
That's so good. One of the biggest pieces of what you have displayed in the movies and what you've also mentioned is relationship building and mastery. Because you've got to be good to people to be able to make calls and say, "Hey, can
Right.
you refer me to?" You have to,
Yeah.
you have to have a decency, and you have to understand how to build rapport and relationship. And even for you in sustaining space in Hollywood over the course of your career, you have managed and mastered relationship. Talk a little bit about how that has worked in your, in your favor, and what's Shaun's key to relationship mastery?
Well, and like you said, I've met a lot of people in Hollywood, um, and a lot of people look at relationships as a one-way street. They
Mhm.
want to get something from somebody. What
Yeah.
I have done is the opposite. Whenever somebody wanted to talk to me about
Mhm.
advice, I would
Mhm.
make sure that I took time to talk to that person.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And to give them, I've
Mhm.
had so many people say, "Oh, one day you gave me some advice." And I'm like, I don't even remember that. So they say, "Yeah, you gave me some advice." You never know where this person's going to be. Okay. You might
Yeah.
not want to deal with them right now because they're just an assistant. But then that
Mhm.
assistant one day may be heading that company. Okay.
That's right.
Will be
That's
working
right.
at some place that
Yeah.
you want to work. And
Yeah.
so, like, I will simple, like, I've been very candid about this because it's something that if people come to me for advice, I tell them. Like I'm on all the social media. I'm on all the social media
Mhm.
platforms. And people will DM me and say, "Hi, Shaun. I'd like for you to read my book and write me a review. Go to my website, buy my product. I'd like to
Yes.
give me your phone number because I want to pick your brain. I want to do all this." Now, I get those emails d- every
Yes.
every day from like 20 people. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if I took all that time to read somebody's book, right, that, like, I would never have time for myself.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
more likely to respond to and you know what I do with all of those? I delete all of them because I
Mhm.
can't accommodate that, and I'll be very
Yeah.
transparent about that.
Yeah.
The ones that I am more likely to respond to are the ones that are going to add some value. So,
That's
Shaun,
right.
I understand that you have a foundation. If you're ever looking for someone to be a mentor to your girls, da da. I understand that you
Mhm.
have a production company. If you're ever looking for a writer in this genre, I have
Mhm.
scripts, blah blah blah, whatever. Add some value first before you're
Right.
asking for a favor, because the person that you want to get to is probably really, really busy, and a lot of people are trying to get to them. And
Mhm.
so that's how I've always tried to do. I've just always tried to just, or if somebody reaches out and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm a big fan of yours. I just want to say, keep going. I admire you, blah, blah, blah." I'll respond. "Thank you very much," whatever. But all of these
Mhm.
people that are telling me that they want me to do all of this stuff for
The
them
work.
for free,
Yes. Yes.
free, I'm just like, goodbye. Okay, goodbye. Because I just
Yeah.
don't have that kind of time.
And it doesn't stop there, right? Because then after that comes 5 more steps to completion to fulfill. And you can never win
Right,
on that track. You can
right,
never win. There will, yeah. You're being held
right.
hostage to their demands at that point. And there's so much to be learned in that because you're not the only one, Sean. When we get those emails, I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't know. No, no,
Just
no. How do I
no.
just say no? Like, no, I can't, I'm not interested.
Right.
And I was like, I almost need to teach a class on this. There's etiquette around adding value. There's etiquette
Yes,
around offering
yes,
advantage, but
absolutely.
it also comes from a heart space of generosity and wanting
Yes,
to, be a person that adds value to someone's life. So I want
right.
to thank you for that little micro lesson, great girlfriends. I hope you wrote that down. I hope you're going back and delete some of those DMs that you had planned to send out. Don't
Girl.
send them like that. Change the language, change the intention around it. I think it's so important. So, Shaun, how can we support the foundation work? I
So
love the work you're
thank you.
doing.
So the Shaun Foundation for Girls, I really, Sybil, looked at this, parents always told me, if God gives you a platform, use it to give back. And that's what I'm doing with my foundation, the Shaun Foundation for Girls. And what we do is we support small grassroots nonprofits that are doing work in 5 key areas of girls' issues. And those are represented by the acronym of my name, SHAUN. So S is for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. H is health, A is arts, U is unity, and N is neighborhoods. So if there's a nonprofit that is doing work in one of those 5 key areas, we would possibly be a resource for you. And so what I hope to one day build the Shaun Foundation for Girls into is like really a go-to resource for these small, deserving nonprofits that are boots on the ground, on the front lines of helping our underserved and underrepresented girls, predominantly girls of color. That's what my focus is. So if you want to find out more about helping us and helping us succeed at our mission, you can go to shaunfoundationforgirls.org and check us out. And there's a donation page if you feel inclined to donate to help our mission. We would welcome it.
For sure. So we're ready to watch the movies. What's next for us, Shaun? What's next?
Greed, like I said, Greed comes on. And that is Saturday at 8:00. So make sure you tune in. And also, go on social media, #GreedOnLifetime. We want to get that hashtag trending. We want people talking about it. So Greed on Lifetime. Make sure you tune in and watch. You're in for a ride.
I'd recommend great girlfriends having watch parties, right? Get together.
Get
together, get with your girls. And definitely turn your device on and have it playing because we want the viewership. But to get your get together with your girls, celebrate, converse over the film, ask questions, engage online with the hashtag, and do let Shaun know how grateful you are for the work that she's putting out and that you continue to put out, Shaun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All that you've done and all that you continue to do in representing us and making sure our stories are heard in a valuable way.
Thank you so much, Sybil. Thank you for having me on, and God bless you and to your whole audience.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, great girlfriends. Did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends. Follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_greatGFS. I'm Sybil Amuti and I'm out. Peace.